Hello everyone and welcome once again to the Deiser Connection. How you doing? I hope you're doing great. We've been back from Atlassian Team 24 for 2 weeks already, and I think we've already have some rest. So we're going to get to important topics, like for example the one that we decided to record this week, that is about Atlassian Forge. What is Atlassian Forge? Okay, so Atlassian Forge is a platform specifically built for developers to build apps in a more secure and scalable way. Also, in words of Atlassian, it will allow them to focus more in innovation when developing apps than the infrastructure, because they will provide that infrastructure. You will be able to build apps for Jira, for Confluence, I believe that Bitbucket also, and Compass. Today, Álvaro Aranda will let us know a little bit more about Forge, what to expect from Forge, and what the future looks like with Forge. So let's go to the studio and to the interview with Álvaro Aranda. So, as I mentioned before, today Álvaro Aranda joins us. Álvaro Aranda is a colleague from Deiser, and he is the engineer manager for Deiser Apps. Hi Álvaro, how are you doing?
Hello, Fede. Everything's rolling.
Nice.
I'm really happy to be here with you.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy that you're here too. So, how long have you been working for Deiser?
Well, I have been working for Deiser for the last 10 years. And as we are going to be talking about Forge, I am working with Forge for the last 4 years, more or less.
Since we've been talking about Forge in the last Atlassian Team 24 held in Las Vegas, let's talk about it, and let's share that knowledge and tell people that might not know what Atlassian Forge is. What is Atlassian Forge, Álvaro?
So Forge is the cloud development platform that is provided by Atlassian that is going to enable us to focus on the business logic of our apps and also in the solutions we want to provide to our customers.
Nice. Perfect. And now focusing on the users that you just mentioned, what would be a benefit of using an Atlassian app, a marketplace app that is built in Forge? What would be the benefits for that?
Okay, in terms of features, there may be no difference. So you can create an app built in Forge or with Connect, and it may be similar and perform similar too. But there are two important things that can make the difference for customers. The first one is related with security. Mm-hmm. So, Forge is the platform, is the cloud where Atlassian is storing all the apps that are built with Forge. Mm-hmm. Because of that, if you are working with Jira, for example, and you have different apps built in Forge, the data is not going to get out of the Atlassian cloud. So this is important for customers because they don't want their data perhaps to be shared with different infrastructures or perhaps moving on in different places of the internet.
Exactly, spread around.
Yes. To be placed in the Atlassian cloud. So if they trust Atlassian, they are going to trust your apps too.
Nice.
And the second important thing is also related with data. And because you are using Forge, Atlassian is going to provide data residency for all Forge native apps. This is crucial for a lot of companies because they don't want their data to be located in a different place of the world, perhaps. Mm-hmm. So if there is a European perhaps company, they will prefer their data to be there. There are a lot of legal terms and compliance terms that are going in that way. And with data residency provided by Forge, they are going to be able to accomplish that too.
Nice, nice, perfect. That's a really important point. Data residency is and compliance is super important nowadays, and there's a lot of big companies, enterprise companies, and even smaller companies that really need to focus on that, and to have that solved for them. Uh, so moving on a little bit, we already know, and we also know that. Uh, Jira Cloud, or for example, Atlassian Cloud Apps can also be developed in with Connect. Connect is a framework, that usually, but that different developers have been using in order to develop apps for the cloud. But nowadays, and as a marketplace partner, a marketplace vendor, what would you choose? What would you choose between Connect and Forge?
That's a really good question. Well, it depends on your situation. But for me, if I have to build a new app, the first thing I will be worried about is the market fit. So perhaps looking to see if my solution is the solution that customers really need. And for that, I will choose Forge, because Forge, as you were saying, is a complete platform, and Atlassian is going to provide you the platform, but also the communication between the platform and your code, the app. So you should be able only to be focused on the use cases you want to build, and this is going to reduce a lot the time it's going to take you to build the app and to put it in the marketplace and to validate if your solution can fit the market necessities. For that, I will choose Forge, but to be honest, it's going to depend on the use cases you want to build. Forge has a lot of limitations right now, and you need to see if there's any limitation that will block your use cases, and if it's your situation, perhaps you should create your new app in Connect right now.
Okay, that's also super interesting, because it depends of what you want to do with your app, but the market fit also is really important to know if you solve problems for the user, if you and you get them what they need. That's pretty good. So maybe that's what Deiser had to pass through at some point, and since we have been developing apps in Forge for a few years now, you said that you've been working with Forge for the past 4 years. My question is, have you passed through any challenges, or have you learned any lessons during this period working with Forge?
Yes, the first lesson here can be the necessity to use Forge if you want to create an app as soon as possible to see if this app is the one you really want to build in the future too. And for that, we have built our last 3 apps in Forge native. They're in the marketplace right now. And we spent only perhaps 2 or 3 weeks in every of those apps before applying to the marketplace. And there are also other important challenges we were facing. I think the most important one is related with performance, because Forge is using a serverless framework for the backend, and for that, it's working different. Perhaps as we were working in Connect with our own infrastructure, and this makes you to have a special eye, perhaps, on the performance, not to face these limits, to able your customers work with your app normally with no problems. And we also were challenging with Forge storage, which is like the database you have in Forge to store data, because at the very beginning it was like a really simple one, and now it's more advanced. and we had to do a migration between the data store in the previous, the previous approach they had in Forge to the current one, the more advanced one. And it was challenging because of these limitations, especially the time limitations we have in Forge. But it ended really well. Our customers are really happy, and the performance of our app has increased a lot.
A lot. And remind me, which app is this one?
This one is Budgety.
Budgety is fully developed in Forge, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and it's rated with budget and cost tracking. And at the very beginning, we were using, this key value approach for Forge storage. And then we moved to the custom entities one, and it makes the difference not because how you store the data, but how you retrieve the data, how you get the data. Okay. So we have some use cases, some that are related with reporting. And for that, being able to collect the data faster was crucial for us. And now Budgety is performing better.
That's really, really good to know. And just to remind everyone, we have two apps that are developed fully in Forge, which are Budgety and GoMood, right?
Yes, and we have a third one, this QSpot.
QSpot,
it
right?
Was
yes.
Our first step into Forge.
Yes. And maybe you have learned lessons about the first app built in Forge, but we'll leave it for the next episode because I believe that those are gonna be really interesting too. Yeah. Okay. So Budgety, QSpot, and GoMood. So that's pretty cool, and that's really interesting insights that you provide us. Lessons learned with building apps, with developing apps in Forge. So now, and as for the last question, because we could talk about Forge, and what we can achieve with Forge, but what are you expecting for the future of Forge?
Well, in the near future, I'm really concerned about how to bring the best possibilities from Forge and Connect together. So Atlassian is launching like an initiative called Connecting Forge to unblock this thing to work, make those platform and framework work together. And this is something we are going to apply in Exporter Cloud. So that's important news here.
Yes, that's pretty
we
cool.
We are really exploring the possibility to put these two words together to get the better from them. And we will try to give even a better experience to our exporter users in the future. So have an eye on it.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So looking forward to seeing that in Exporter, that because that's one of our other apps, in Exporter, we're trying to reveal Exporter, which is no secret, we're telling everyone that we're trying to revamp or overhaul Exporter, if you may say so, and doing that with Exporter, and that it should take some of the Forge power and the Connect power. That's super interesting, and I would really like to see it. So hopefully everything works well with that. So I think that's pretty much it for the episode. We've been talking for a few minutes now, and we want to save some for the second episode because, as I said before, this is only the beginning of the small series that we want to make about Forge. And if we could talk about Forge all day long, believe me, then that Álvaro and me, we would do it. we would stay here all day long talking about Forge. So thank you very much, Álvaro, for this first episode.
Thank you, Fede, and it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Okay, no problem. And see you guys on the next episode, okay? Bye-bye. Thank you very much. So again, hope you liked it. Hope you found this insightful and interesting, not only from the developer's point of view, but also from the user's point of view, and we'll see you next week again for another episode of the Deiser Connection. Thank you very much for being there. Bye bye.